how to use action learning circles. In this module, you'll learn where traditional training fails, what we mean by action learning circles, and how action learning circles work. One of the key things is overcrowding. You've got lots and lots of people to get through the curriculum, so they're overloaded. Loads of people getting done. Poor retention rate. If you look at the average classroom, what do people take away? They take away 10 to 15% of what they learn in the classroom. Do they convert into everyday actions and behaviors? It's a theory overload, what they call knowledge transfer. Try and get as much done, because to release people to go and attend the training is difficult enough. So try and get as much in as possible. Hundreds of slides. Disruption and cost of getting participants released from work to attend. With less people doing more and more work, it's becoming very, very hard to get people released for training. Variability of attention and participation. Some people attend and they participate, but some people just sit on the edge. So it's, with big classrooms and stuff like that, you just can't really get the knowledge truly transferred across. And part of the reason is the brain. Where the new processing takes place, it's a part of the brain that got left behind during evolution. It's 45% of the brain's capacity, and anything new goes through there. It processes fast. It takes stuff on board. It understands it, moves it straight into long-term storage. It's like a little stage that manages it. But it is just like the limitations of this think box, your prefrontal cortex. It uses up a lot of energy. And you think at the end of the day, when you've spent the day learning something new, you feel exhausted, and that's why it takes a lot of energy. There's limited space for processing new concept, and it takes up more space than the ideas that you know already. So new stuff grabs, it hogs the space. Memory starts to degrade when you hold more than one idea in your mind. When making decisions between items, the optimum number is to compare 2. Do we do that? Number of ideas you can hold is 3 to 4. Did we do that? This is the problem. Learning is like getting it through the eye of the needle. You have this huge sensory memory, this very large long-term memory, and it's how do you get that stuff through this eye of the needle, this little prefrontal cortex? That is a real limiting factor. So, optimizing your learning capability, limit the intake of new information as much as possible, simplify, focus just on the key elements, arrange your thinking process in the right order to reduce the number of cues, schedule fresh time for complex tasks, chunk up the new data to ease understanding and transfer it into longer-term memory, use visuals for complex ideas, create patterns, maps. All of those things will help to optimize your learning capability. Okay, so what do we mean by action learning circles? What would happen if we formed learners into non-hierarchical circles of support? We teach them to coach one another, provide theory in small, just-in-time chunks, focus learning on work, and encourage them to experiment, try things out, get learners to apply their learning to their jobs, and then prove over time that the learning has worked. Sound good? Sound feasible? Sound doable? Okay. This will surely sort of result in a much better retention and conversion into real life. If training the green zone, lucky if you get sort of 20% sort of going into real life. With coaching, with peer-to-peer coaching, with external people coaching people within the action learning circles, you're going to get this sort of guided self-discovery and over time pushing stuff at a much higher percentage. It's over 60, 80% going into long-term memory. So this concept of action learning has been around a while. Willing is not enough. We must do. You really learn by doing. Going back to the Welsh coal mines in the 1940s, it's based on a professor observing students, discussing their problems, collaborating and reflecting on what they were experiencing, supporting colleagues, breakthroughs based on deep questioning, cross-disciplinary skill set. That became action learning back in the 1940s. So the fundamentals of action learning just make sense. Training, learning, and problem solving is based on real work issues. High performance is through teamwork. It develops skills of the person being helped together with those doing the helping. What's there not to like about action learning circles? So how do we get action learning circles? Make LEAP the foundation of this conversion of theory into action. And LEAP stands for learn the theory. Learn the theory in small, little chunks via your learning, via someone else, via a short training session. Learn theory, but then experiment. This is the bit that so often gets missed. Experiment to understand, test ideas, try out new things, fail in a safe environment, work in action learning teams, share the findings, get everyday coaching support. Powerful, powerful stuff. Yet simple. Then apply the learning to real life. Translate learning to real life, everyday practice. Continuously improve on what you do. Capture your reflections and evidence in a learning log. And it's starting to become part of life. It's starting to become a good habit. And then prove it. Over time, prove that it's worked. Be assessed throughout the program. Internal assessors, internal coaches, look for proof evidence of successful implementation. And start again, start the process again. So that's LEAP, and LEAP should be the foundation of whatever you do. The values that are going to make it work, it's voluntary, and confidentiality and trust are just absolutely key. It encourages autonomy and mutuality, so people are really working together. Team members offer support and challenge. People are empathetic towards one another. This empathy is a key thing that grows within the group. High quality attention to the presenter and the issue is key. So those are the values that will make action learning circles work. Okay, right. Essentially, there are three roles. There's somebody who's presenting their particular issue. The remaining people are coaches, and then there's a facilitator. The presenter presents the issue, the coaches help to explore the problem and solve, and the facilitator guides the process. All within an agreed time slot. So ideally put dates in diary, book something every 2 weeks, stick to it. If you stick to it for 3 months, it becomes a good habit, so stick at it. The key processes are developing a safe environment for learning, providing high challenge and support to one another, helping members individually and collectively, explore your feelings, share stuff, articulate, get the sort of knowledge and attentions, give examples, it's all about sort of helping one another and guiding one another to new learning and, share emerging action points. So those are the key processes. It is highly effective, yet it's just a really simple thing. Powerful questions, really listening to the other person, sharing and learning, sort of reflecting on what you've tried out, and actually maybe getting to a new solution, taking action. And then you get group and individual development, all taking place within this simple everyday process. Learning inputs come from a variety of sources. With one client, we run learning days, that's K9 Partners. And a learning day would be like a 3-hour session to give them something new. This is their managers. Providing coaching support within the group, and like we use external coaches support those groups. Formal e-learning, and then the powerful area of informal learning using Google. It's just amazing what you can actually pick up by just keying in something into Google. There's just so much free information and good information. There's YouTube, there are great videos, and you know, search out for stuff when you need it. Use technology to connect up. You know, Skype's great. Skype's really, really good. Google Plus has got something called Hangouts, where, you know, if there's a group of 6 of you in an action learning circle, you can join up if you are separated by a geography. There's just so much there. It just takes a little bit of invention, a little bit of initiative, and you can actually have these groups meeting really easily. So that's last thoughts. It's a great way of operating, because it's reducing the learning into small learning chunks. It's basing it around real life work. So you learn something, you experiment, you try it out, you apply it to your job, and then you prove that you can do it. It's just such a good way of learning. And the longer you run these action learning circles, the more powerful they become, the more people become confident in terms of giving feedback, and the more they become supportive of one another. So what's holding you back? Get on with it.